Well, we're off to a bang. So, welcome to Smiling Souls, and we are so excited to have Paige Engle with us today. So, K.Paige Engle is not your average influencer, virtual assistant agency owner. Oh no, she's a dynamo in the digital world with a flair for community building and storytelling. As an international speaker, travel entrepreneur, and UGC content creator, Paige blends creativity with strategy to help influencers, content creators, and business owners shine brighter. With a bilingual background in marketing and communications and her very own Amazon Live channel, she knows how to get your message across, no matter the language or platform. Whether she's curating content or mapping out marketing plans, Paige brings a global perspective with a personal touch. Fun, witty, and always on the pulse of what's next, she's here to make your brand unforgettable. You can find her eating macarons in every flavor and online at K.Paige Engle on social. Visit pageingle.com for more details. So welcome, Paige.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me, Wendy and Stephanie. I'm going to have to take y'all with me everywhere. So every room
Mhm.
I walk into with an introduction like that, I'm so excited to be here today.
Thank you. I felt like we needed like one of those applaud noises, like woo!
Yeah.
Hang on, hang on, hang
Okay.
on. Oh, we don't have applause. We got celebrate. We
Oh,
got,
I
oh my
love
gosh, my
it.
mind's blown. Yay, all the things. Okay.
All the things. Yes. No, I so appreciate you ladies inviting me today and having some time to chat with you about some very important topics that we're all kind of encountering at this stage in our lives. So let's do it.
Yeah.
Hey, Steph,
Yeah.
guess what time it is?
It's time for a word from our sponsors.
Are you looking to gain clarity, build momentum, and unlock new opportunities in both your personal and professional life? Well, Lisa Condon is accepting applications for her exclusive 2025 mastermind groups where you will experience the power of focused, collaborative growth. You can check this out at lisacondon.com/mastermind groups.
Yeah. So well, first off, we typically pull cards. So Wendy, what did you pull today?
Okay, so I pulled from my 22 Archangels Oracle deck and I pulled Faith.
Oh,
Moving mountains, trust in your ability to create miracles. The impossible is becoming possible. So that is my pull. What about you, Steph?
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
I decided to use my Druid Plant Oracle cards again.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And so I pulled Plantain. And plantain is kind of interesting. It says that it stands for like assertiveness, calm, resilience, and that plantains are small, inconspicuous perennials found in about 200 species or all over the world and have survived 3 ice ages in Britain, but only really began to flourish at the wake of human settlement. In long grass, it grows directly upwards, reaching high as a foot above ground. But on grazed land, it hugs the ground to avoid being eaten and becomes a menace in the lawn, cannily avoiding the lowest mower blades. This card shows the great plantain in summer, with its flowering spike reminding us of one of its popular names, rat tail. In the distance is the old trek leading to the stones of Kalish in the Isle of Lewis in Scotland, and the upright position that we got it in just basically has to do with its resilience and being resilient and thinking about how you might be being somebody's doormat and you might need to go inward and find the way to be assertive and hold your boundaries more robustly. And yeah, it's just kind of a cool card.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I was like, that's
Mhm.
pretty cool. It's just being holding in, if you know, well, going inward and but coming out with your strength is really what it's about. So I like that. And
I
I
like
kind of think that that is a good place to start with this conversation because if there is someone who I know is assertive, but in a very kind, gentle, and beautiful
oh,
way, it is Miss Paige. She
Mhm.
holds her
Yeah, it
boundaries.
is.
She is a strong, assertive lady,
Mhm.
but she's also like so sweet and wonderful and loving, and I adore her. So I would love to hear you talk about we're all in that stages like you were saying of being
Yeah.
that sandwich generation, having all
Right.
the responsibilities of being a modern woman but also caring for family, and you've got a son and then your dad, and you know you kind of are that person who keeps all the things knit together in your family. So share a little bit about maybe your experience and maybe your mindset on that, on how do we navigate.
Yeah. So I appreciate that question because um, about 18 months ago, my mother was very ill, and I had touched base with Wendy with some of the work that she does supporting caregivers around the world, and just a little touch base. Unfortunately, our time that we connected was a little bit too late. My mother did pass at that time, so completely in transition. Like you said, Stephanie, I have a teenage son, I'm married, I have a business, I have my dad who's alone after 50 plus years of marriage, and just trying to figure out what to do next was like, what is going on? I think
Mhm.
one of the biggest lessons that I did learn during that time and even up until today is that
Mhm.
I am not in control of any of this ish.
Mhm.
Right.
Um, as much as I wanted to think that I was in control, as much as I like to control like what happens next or what's happening now, none of that stuff really matters when you are reprioritizing and getting into a new space.
Mhm.
So I think having conversations with people like Wendy and yourself, it was very, very helpful for me to navigate through that and just know that it's okay that I don't have all the answers, and being able to lean on experts and supporters who do have the
Mhm.
answers.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so what kind of tools do you use, like, when you're trying to have all the balls spinning in the air? You know, you're taking your son to sports and
Yeah,
school and this and that and dad and, you know,
Mhm.
I know.
what supports?
You mean besides sending you crazy memes on Instagram in the middle of the night because I can't sleep?
Yeah, yeah.
Besides
Yeah,
that,
besides that.
besides that, well, I will say that Stephanie has made me some wonderful, and my family, some wonderful oil blends that we've
Mhm.
used,
Yeah.
not only for my skin, but also to use in my diffuser. That has
Mhm.
really helped. I've never been a really big girl on meditation, but
Right.
just having some time to just sit in a room that smell and listen to some music, and the room, like the smells of the room, help calm me with
Mhm.
some of those blends that you've created for me.
Yeah.
Reading is a big thing for me, and now I've recently started coloring thanks to your creativity mastermind that you have every
Yeah.
other week. So that's been an outlet for me to be able to do that. Just really doing some self care. I know Wendy had talked to me about that before as well. Just taking, even if it's just an hour
Mhm.
of time to just have some downtime for myself, to do the things that I used to do. Like I used to read for enjoyment all the time. We talk about books
Mhm.
between between us all the time, but I used to read for enjoyment. And then once I started my business and when I was in corporate and blah, 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 it was just only reading for information. So just clawing back and getting back to some of those things that made me, who I am today and very multifaceted. That helps. And of course, my biggest one is travel. I mean, I literally just got back from Paris a day and a half ago, not even like 2 days ago. And traveling feeds my soul like nobody's business. So just getting back to those things and saying no to people. Like you said, I can say no with no problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No is a complete sentence. No.
Nope.
It is.
Love it. That is awesome. And I love that you're taking the time and realizing that instilling those tools helps you. Like that's probably one of those hardest things to do, but once you do it, it's like, oh, yes, Yeah.
Yeah. I remember a conversation with Wendy and we were talking and she said, well, what are you doing for yourself? And I'm like, well, no. I got to do this for my dad and this for my mom and this for my, and Wendy's like, no. Back it up, girl. What are you doing for yourself? And to be honest, I think I even told her, I don't think I'm doing anything for myself. I'm taking care of everyone else. Right.
Yep.
And it's like, some people say it's, just a little knock on the door or whatever. I'm like, y'all both know I had like an anvil, like in the cartoons fall on my head. Right. Like if you don't listen, your body will show you what's going on. Yep. And you got to listen. You got to be kind to yourself just as much as you're kind to other people.
Exactly.
Isn't it interesting how we are so hard on ourselves and how we talk to ourselves? We would never say those words to anybody else, but yet here we are. And words are so powerful. Yeah. And so when you catch yourself, that was a stupid thing to do. Whoa, no. Oh, reframe that. I am so adorable. Look at what I just did. Isn't that great? Right? So Paige, I love that you are taking care of yourself and using those essential oils that Stephanie has made for you and doing the reading and all the things. And you said something in the beginning about, I can't control any of this. How did you get to that point? What shifted?
I think what shifted for me was the flurry or the actual number of things that were going on. You may be able to handle, and that's what the word I'm going to use in air quotes for you podcast listeners, handle it. There may be one or two things that you can handle, but you can't handle 15, right? You just, at some point, it's one of those things where it's not that you're giving up, you're just surrendering to what's happening around you.
Yeah.
So I think it was the sheer number of BS and critical things and crises and all that stuff that was all happening at the same time where I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to let go and just be able to handle and manage the things that I can manage. And once I did that, I felt a huge weight come off my shoulders and knew that I could just take care of things, one or two things at a time. And that was okay. I didn't have to handle 15 like a pro all at the same time. That wasn't even that. It just didn't work like that. So,
so say no, let go, or be dragged.
Pretty much. And stomped. And no, I'm kidding. I was just like, all the things.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Exactly.
Yep, that's what you got to do to put the fire out, right?
Up, drop, and roll.
Oh man. And what about your family? Did they ever kind of have to smack you in the head and be like, darling, pay attention?
No.
Or yeah.
Excuse me. No, my family, I'm a little hoarse because I was speaking like
it's okay.
a week straight in like multiple languages. So you'll have to.
Of course she was.
Of course I was.
She was.
Right? My family was very interesting. I think one thing, that's important, whether you're working with people or you're serving clients or you're serving customers, is understanding what works for some people may not work for others. And that's just a real sign of like leadership and guidance and that kind of thing. So my family knows that when I retreat to myself, it's probably in your best interest to leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Whereas
Mhm.
someone else is like my dad is just really, like he likes to gab and he likes to talk and all that, you know what I mean? Like he likes to express himself. Whereas when I'm to my limit, I'm to
Shut
my
down.
limit. I
Yep.
completely shut people out. I
Mhm.
have to do what I have to do. I become super, super hyper focused. And
Mhm.
they knew that it was that time. I
Mhm.
will have to say, I definitely appreciated my husband because I'm still in massive grief. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it
Right.
here
Mhm.
about my mom.
Right.
And then recently this year, we then lost my husband's mom.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
I just knew in July, we lost my husband's mom. And then it just really shifted again for me. That first shift was the letting go. And then the second shift was life is way too short to be doing shit that's not good for you.
Yep.
exactly.
And so I
Yeah.
think it's a gradual process when you're going through grief or when you're being like an extended caregiver or any of those, or you've had some sort of trauma. There are
Mhm.
levels to it. And I think that people have to be open to that. And I think they have to know that going in.
Yeah.
Exactly. Um, I didn't see a statistic. An expert in the field of caregiving gave this statistic that just knocked me off my chair. She said, you can be a caregiver for between 8 and 20 years.
Wow.
Mhm.
Shit.
Yeah.
And no
Yeah.
one goes into caregiving knowing that. We don't
Right.
know, right? We think it's just,
Right.
okay, let's fix this, let's get this in order. And then, oh crap, I'm 13 years with my mom.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yep.
We
I
don't
was
know.
yeah, I was almost 20 years. And it's
Yeah.
like even though you've been a caregiver and you've gone to all the doctor's appointments and you've done all the things, you're never really prepared for when it's time for them, right?
No.
When it's time for
Right.
them to leave their physical bodies. You're never actually prepared.
Mm.
And like I said, I'm still a work in progress. I think that that's what people should
Mhm.
really
Mhm.
be mindful of is that it's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay. I also think it's important for people to be very mindful. And this was something that I discovered
Mhm.
during this time is that not everyone has the same relationships with the parents
Oh
or
yeah.
people that they're caregiving for.
Mhm.
So that was a realization for me. I was super blessed and super lucky to have a very close relationship with my mom. Like she was really like my best friend.
Mhm.
And I can say that truly. There are times now where I just miss that I can't just call her and say, "Girl, guess what happened to me today?" You know what I mean? I can say those things, but what I
Mhm.
miss is that response, right?
Right.
And I miss, those words of wisdom and that kind of thing. And I'm finding now that, I'm 18 months into it that I'm starting to say a lot of the things that she used to say. And
Mhm.
I say it and then I'm just like, what did I just I'm like, I sound like my mom and my grandma right now. And
Yeah.
so it's just amazing the impact that people can have on you, whether it's your parent or a friend or a spouse. It just takes time and you have to be willing to accept that.
Mhm.
One of the things, like I said, I just got back from Paris and last year, of course, we did not decorate for Christmas because my mother passed at Christmas
Mhm.
the day after. And so it was just super heavy in our home and that kind of thing. So we didn't
Mhm.
decorate. And I thought to myself, you know what? We are going to start that tradition up again because she just loved the holidays and bringing people together
Mhm.
and feeding them. And when my little guy, because he's not little now, he literally just finished driver's ed like yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Um, when he was growing up, he would always pick the theme for Christmas, right? Like whatever the color was. I think you remember, Stephanie, we did dinosaurs one year
Yep.
and then
Yep.
we did
Yeah.
like woodland animals and then he picked the colors. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
everything on my tree.
So
And,
awesome.
yeah. And so he would pick the theme and we just haven't done that like in the
Yeah.
last 2 years, right?
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
said to him, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make him do it this year, even though he's almost 16.
Mhm.
He'll want to.
Yeah.
And so when I was driving to school yesterday, I said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to decorate for Christmas this year." And my dad was in the car with me, and I said, "What theme or what color do you want it to be?" And he said, "I want it to be purple." And I said, "Purple?" And he
Yeah.
was like, "Yes, purple." I said, "Why is it because that's like a favorite color that you're liking now?" He's like, "No, because it's the closest thing to violet, which is my mom's name." Ladies, I was practically bawling driving. I'm like, "You know what, Robert? That is absolutely apropos and perfect. We are having a purple Christmas this year."
That
Yeah,
is
you are.
so awesome. I almost am like ready to cry. That's
I
so
know,
sweet.
right?
I love
And then my
that.
dad was like, "Yeah, you know what? You're right. That's what we're doing this year because it's close to violet." And I was like,
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. You're like, guys, knock it off.
yeah. But you really don't think about how you're affected by things in grief, but you really don't think about how the kids are or your spouse or whatever. So
Yeah.
I just thought that it was so insightful that that's what he wanted because it was closest to her name. And I
Yeah,
would have never thought of that.
that's so
You
awesome.
know what I mean? So having these conversations with the people that you're around or that you love, it's very important to have these conversations at the most mundane times when we're doing school drop off. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so I'll send y'all a picture of my purple Christmas.
I was
I
gonna say
love
we
it.
got to see this.
Yes, absolutely.
And so you said that your mom was your biggest inspiration, is your biggest inspiration. Can you share a little bit about that and about maybe her or
Yeah, so my mom's name was Violet, like I said. She was actually named after her mom as well. We use family names in our family. And she was just a little spitfire, never over 100 pounds in my entire life. So obviously it skipped a generation when it came to me.
same
But
in
she,
my family?
right, exactly. But she was the one who encouraged or actually started me with speaking French when I was 5. She spoke a
Oh,
patois. She's from Alabama. So she wanted me to learn it the right way and just super encouraged me my entire life. She was very much a tough cookie when it came to education and being a kind person and treating people right. That's where I get that from her. And also knowing who I am. She instilled so much confidence in me. I have people saying, "Where the hell did you get it from?" And I'm like, "I got it from Violet.
Mhm.
I got it from Violet." She was fiercely independent, but super. How do I say this? She was fiercely independent, but very much a partner with my dad. And I think a lot of times we miss out on seeing that. So I was very lucky to be able to see that relationships. They had their ups and downs, just like every marriage, but they were truly partners. And that's something that I try to do in my own marriage because I had that example.
Yeah.
Um, and one of the things that my husband said that made me laugh, those things that your husband says when you don't want to laugh, but then you end up laughing anyway,
right.
is my mother was very honest. And I think that is a quality that I have and that I cherish, that people know when I'm talking to you, I'm going to give it to you straight. Right. And so
Mhm.
he said to me once, I said, "Well, who is going to tell me if something looks great?" Or no, I said, "I don't know if I'm going to wear this." He's like, "Don't worry. I'll tell you like your mom if you look crazy in it and take it off." Right. And I was like, "I know," because she would be the one, she wouldn't say I look crazy, but she'd be like, "Let's try a different one." You know what I mean? She would totally be like that. I'd be like, "Okay, so this is not the option for today." Or she'll
Yes.
say, "Go try the blue dress," or, something like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
very
So
smooth.
yeah, total smooth. But you knew what she meant. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, girl, that's not gonna work. Kind of thing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we just had so many like running jokes between her, myself, and my dad and in our family. I mean, it was just great. It was great growing up with them and great, being a caregiver with them. It was super hard. seeing her decline and that kind of stuff. But I knew I was doing the right thing. So
Yeah.
thank you for
Mhm.
asking that question. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. It's good to hear more about her. She sounds like
Yeah.
an awesome lady.
Yeah. Yeah. She definitely was awesome. It was, I mean, she was just cracks me up like all the time. Like I could just say something to her and she would just be like, yeah, just
Mhm.
straight shooter. She didn't talk often. Like my dad is Mr. Personality. Like I get my personality from him. My dad is Mr. Personality, but she is very much like when she talked, everybody listened kind of
Mhm.
person.
Yeah.
So super quiet, but everybody listened. And everyone knew that my dad loved her like ridiculously. Like even today, I'll go into the bank or Walgreens or somewhere, and they're just like, "Your dad just loved your mom," and blah blah blah. I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
You're
And then when
like,
my
thank
son
you.
came along, I became chopped liver. So
Yep. I know how that goes. um, so tell us about what you do, because you do some cool things.
Yeah, you do.
yeah,
I
so
mean, I don't know where you want to start.
yeah, well,
Right?
I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I feel the most valued when I'm supporting other people. So I actually have two businesses. The first business is Paris by Paige, where I lead bespoke tours to Paris and France as my signature, but then also all over Europe. Did Greece this year, and then we're doing Sicily next year in Italy, as well as Paris, of course. Was just doing I did a tour in September for 10 people, so small group tours, and then just did a private tour, like I said, last week.
Mhm.
And just got back on Thursday. So, oh, that would have been yesterday. So, yeah.
Such a jet setter. I just
Yeah,
got back in on Thursday.
yeah, just got back in on Thursday. So I'm still awake,
So
right?
cool. So cool.
And the other thing that I do is like a culmination of my marketing and communications career. 30 plus years. I won't even say what the number is. But I'm an OBM, which is an online business manager. So I help content creators, business owners strategize and monetize their businesses, and I do that through a couple different ways. I also have a leg that's a virtual assistant agency where I have some contractors and folks on my team that help support business owners with that. So we do things like podcast management, LTK, which is like To Know It, which is the monetization platform for content creators, Amazon storefronts. And as you mentioned, I have an Amazon live channel. A lot of people don't even know what that is, but go
Right.
follow me over there, K.Paige
Okay.
Engle. So basically, it's like an HSN or QVC, but on Amazon. So I have a live channel over there and I do interviews and share my favorite things. Really getting into the business product recommendation side of things, and sharing like some of my favorite products that I know business owners use, comparing those, giving you the real deal tea on those products, and helping people make those decisions for their businesses.
Cool.
Woo. Is there anything you don't do?
Yes, I do not draw.
Well, there you go.
Hence the coloring book for the
Hence the
creativity
coloring
hour.
book. But
That's why I'm going to it. I'm like, I'm around all you beautiful creative people, and I am just like hangman, stick figure guy. So
Hey, you're super creative in your own right.
I am. I can follow directions really well.
Yep.
There we go.
Oh.
Paige, can you give us, going back to your mom, this came up for me, and so I feel like I need to say it.
Yeah.
Can you give us, you said, you're being reminded, or your mom is coming out in you.
Yes.
You're finding yourself saying some things that she used to say and do some things. So can you give us a momism that recently came up?
Oh yeah, sure. So when we were in France, I purchased some perfume, which is something that I do all the time. Well, I used to actually purchase her perfume because it would be like things that wouldn't get to the States for like another 6 months. So I would always do that. And the client that I was there with was just like, oh my gosh, I really want this, but I don't know. And I found myself saying something my mom would say all the time because quality was like the utmost to her. You don't have to have like 10 pairs of pants. If you have like 3 quality pieces, then that's what's great. So what I said to her is, I'm like, let me just tell you, if you're tired of wearing, $25 fragrance or whatever, and you want this fragrance that's $200, it's like, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. And that's exactly what I said to her. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? She's like a total like download. But it's paying for quality, right?
Right.
And it's treating yourself to nice things. You don't have to have 50 million of them, but do the right thing by yourself. You know what I'm saying? For yourself.
That speaks to valuing yourself and knowing your value. And realizing that you are worthy to put the oxygen mask on yourself first and buy that $200 bottle of perfume because you're worth it.
Because you're worth it. You're definitely worth it.
So I love that. Give me that phrase again that your mom said.
Oh, she would say, you have to pay the cost to be the boss.
I mean,
come on now.
That needs to be like a t-shirt or one of those little plaques.
I know.
Yep.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens. Like I every so often just things that my grandmother would say come flying out of my mouth, and like particularly there's a nickname she used to call my mom. She used to call her Lady Jane. And every so often I'll just go, "Oh sure, Lady Jane," and my mom will like spin on a dime and be like, "What?" She's like, my mother used to call me that. I go, I know.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, but it's so funny how that happens. Like you just start saying things that
you open your mouth and your mother comes out.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Whether you want it to or not, it just happens. I mean, it surprises you at the most craziest times. So.
Yeah.
Right.
My sister laughs very heartily because as I became a mom, I am so my mother.
Right. Well, you mentioned, Paige, like we don't all have the same relationship that you had with your mother that we have with our mothers. And so I always said to myself, I'm not going to be like my mom at all. Right. And then I will say something that she usually says or does something. And I'm like, shit.
Yep.
Well, here we are.
Here we are. It's reality.
As my mother says, blood is thicker than water.
Yeah.
Right. You can take the country out of the girl, but you can't take the girl out of the country. Mom says that all the time. And I'm like, ooh, she's probably right.
Mm-hmm.
I know. It's like they're just full of wisdom that, it matters and it's true. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you have any good things to talk about?
Well, so I just something, funny story about mom. We're sitting in a doctor appointment just this week, and she says something that is triggering to me, and she knows it, right? Mm. Mom knows how to push the buttons because she installed them. Let's face it. Said something, and I didn't respond right away. I just looked at her and I said, Mom, you taught me that if I didn't have anything nice to say, that I shouldn't say anything. And she just looks at me and goes, oh. And that just shut her right down. I'm like, Wendy for the win. I'm like, you told me. And I'm just leading by your example.
Exactly. I'm just following your rules.
That's right. Caught her off guard.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. Thank you.
So on your shifting gears all completely.
Okay.
Application.
This is what we do here. You're welcome.
You mentioned a favorite book called The One Thing. Can you tell us about that book?
Yeah. It is written by one of the founders of, I believe it's Keller Williams Realty. Mm-hmm. And it talks about being focused, right? And it talks about how you can have all of these different distractions in your life coming at you, people talking at you, stuff you got to do. But if you focus on the one thing, you will be able to move the needle further than you've ever thought that you could. And I definitely prescribe to that. And of course, I'm not saying the one thing for a whole year. Your one thing could be just your one thing for 6 weeks or a month or a quarter. But always focus on the thing that's going to move the needle the most for you in like your business, in your personal relationships, and in your life. And I think that that's a really good motto to live by.
I love that.
That's great advice.
And then
Steph and I are always unfocused.
Hey, I try really hard.
I do too, but get us together and it's like, whoa.
But that's a normal thing because there's so many things coming at you from so many different directions. It's just you got to put that little Teflon coat on and you say, you know what, this is what I'm going to focus on. And then when you're done with that, or when you feel like it's to a completion point, then you can move on to the next thing, right?
Yeah. Moving the needle.
Yeah.
Moving the needle is most important.
Like, so my husband right now is on a job in Missouri. He just left on Sunday. And so randomly, first off, my house had gotten very dirty and there were certain things that I just was being stubborn and like, I'm not going to clean this because they made the mess, whatever.
Right.
And so, but it was really funny because like come Sunday, he leaves and suddenly I'm like, I can clean the house now. And like all week long, it's been a process of getting the house clean. And it makes your whole world feel better once your house is clean. And it's pretty much, I've got like 2 things left to do. And I can't tell you how much better I feel. But yeah, it had to be that like focus element of, because, the first day of cleaning was that weird cleaning where you start with, I'm going to organize the bookshelf. And then you find something weird that you're like, oh, this needs to go in the memory box. And then the memory box comes out and you have to start going through the memories. And no. And so day 1 was kind of a ADHD kind of cleaning fest, and where you go and you make more messes.
Right.
But then the next day it was like, okay, we're going to focus on the living room. We're going to focus on, and I have slowly gotten there to the point that now I'm like, oh my gosh, my house. So I moved the needle all week long. I did
Congratulations.
the things.
That is awesome. It's like, but that's what, got to do sometimes.
Gotta
True.
do it.
And it's really important. I feel like when you set that intention and you focus on that, it's easier to say no to other things.
Exactly.
Because it's holding you back
focused
from saying yes to the thing that you really want.
Exactly.
I love that.
And then because you've been saying,
she's like, I love that.
I do. It's just brilliant because when
You didn't know I was so cool, huh?
Oh, girl, I did. I love everything. I love everything I'm seeing on the screen. I love your voice. I love your background. I love your knowledge. I'm soaking it all in. And I'm saying thank you to the universe for putting me in this position to be podcasts with Steph. So I get to experience you firsthand.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah. I love Paige. She's the best. And what are you reading for fun? Or what's one of your favorites that you read recently that you've been?
So I just got a book in the airport.
Ooh.
Let me grab it. It's by this author, Lisa Jewell, Invisible Girl.
Yeah.
Had
Looks
never
like
heard
you flew through it already.
Yeah.
I was reading now. Well, I did also have hours and hours of flights, right?
Yes.
But it's more of a thriller. It's just furiously twisty, utterly gripping. It's interesting. And so far it's got me, but it doesn't have me gripped yet. But it has me really interested. So this is what I'm reading right now.
That looks interesting.
Invisible Girl. I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it turns out. It's a very interesting. It's a story about a young girl who had something traumatic happen to her when she was 10 by a fellow student. We won't go into that. But she was seeing a psychologist, and then so it chronicles like her life. Her parents had died very young. She lived with her grandpa and uncles, and then his life with his wife and his family. It's set in London. And then another girl, not the girl that's in the book, but another girl goes missing.
Mm.
And then this girl who was seeing the doctor also goes missing. So I don't know if the doctor is the culprit or whatever, but we'll find out.
Interesting.
A mystery. That
You
sounds
know, I love
great.
mysteries. I mean, I'm a huge like mystery fan. My husband's like, I always come in, can I just see you watching like Waterboy or Grown Ups? I'm always watching murder.
Have you seen, talk about a shift? Have you seen on Paramount, Elsbeth?
No.
Oh my God.
Do I need to add that to my list?
Good thing.
She's like Columbo, if you remember Columbo.
Columbo is on repeat.
Right?
Murder, She Wrote, Columbo, Ms. Marple, they're on repeat. Okay.
Okay. She's like Columbo, but she's much more flamboyant and colorful.
Okay. Love it. Make sure you text that over to me so that I can.
I will do that.
Can look for that. I remember Stephanie knows the story. I always watch like Midsummer Murders and like Inspector Morse and all these British like murder mysteries. And when my little guy was little, he said, I am never going to England because everybody dies there. And I'm like, you're right.
God.
Like it could be a frying pan or poison or, all the things. So, but
we used to laugh when our son was little. We were like, how does he not have a British accent yet? Because between my mom always watching PBS shows like that, and then the children shows that he watched for the most part were from elsewhere, like, and they had, British accents or Australian accents. So we were like, how does he not have an accent yet?
That's a fair point. But I have to say, Steph, your son is very proper.
Yes.
I love that.
Very polite, very proper.
Yeah.
Go, Mom. Nice job.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's a very respectful.
He was born that way. I didn't. Yeah. I mean, really? Other than that, I guess I made him, but like,
so fun.
He innately is a very serious little boy. Like even when he was a baby, I'd be like, is he gonna smile? Is he gonna? He's gonna be silly, yeah. Like he's 10, and we just got to the fart joke kind of stage of life, and I'm like, I've been waiting 10 years for this.
Great.
It is. Yeah. And now that it's here, I'm like, oh, can it stop?
Yeah.
No.
It won't
open up the door.
I have a 56-year-old that is in the fart stage since I've met him. So
yeah. I was like, you open the portal. There's no going back now.
There's no closing it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, the best is he seems to think that he has all the riz.
Okay.
All the riz. And basically, he thinks all the lovely ladies will want to marry him someday. Not just Taylor Swift, but like all of them.
Why not? That's that words are powerful and thoughts are powerful. So we'll see what happens.
He's hilarious. Last night he says to me, he goes, so I kind of have a secret crush on Kamala Harris. And I go, oh, okay. He goes, but I think Doug will get upset with me.
Oh, he probably will.
How respectful.
I was like, well, he might, or he'll just be like, you're a cute little boy.
That's right.
And I love that. I love that. That just made my day.
It was hilarious, but yeah, he's a character.
He's a good character.
He is a good character.
He means very well. I'm trying to figure out how to navigate the encouraging your child to only want to date one celebrity at a time. Like a couple weeks ago when my sister was here, he was telling my sister that he was gonna date or marry Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, Dua Lipa, and there's a fourth one, Ariana Grande. And we were like, those are some divas. Like that seems like a lot of work. Like
those are some strong women.
Very strong women.
So
he's all for letting the women, like he's like he is like, why don't we have a woman president yet? When are we letting the ladies in charge? Come on, ladies, But yeah, so there is that element of being like, well, you can't marry more than one person. You can date people. Maybe one at a time though.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll
You
be
know what?
interesting.
He'll be fine.
He'll
I mean,
figure it out eventually.
yeah, he'll figure it out because, my husband's a huge James Bond fan. And if you ever
Mhm.
watch any James Bond movies,
Yeah. All the
he's with
ladies.
like all the ladies,
Yeah,
Right.
right?
he's
And
James Bond.
so, yeah. So, at one point my son thought he wanted to be a spy, but, you know,
That's awesome. Gonna be James Bond.
Gosh,
exactly.
yeah.
It'll pass. No
It'll
worries. But
pass.
pick,
Good
he
enough.
has some great picks though. So
Right?
that's what's encouraging.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly. I
Strong.
know. He does pick them well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
fun.
could be different. Let's count our blessings, girls.
Right.
Exactly. Mhm. Yeah, I think one of the funniest was he had a crush on my brother's girlfriend for a while, and it was so cute, but he was like, "I really love Dalia." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's Uncle Mike's girlfriend. You can't steal her." And finally, so he walks up to Uncle Mike, he goes, "Steal."
Oh,
Aw.
oh, that's adorable. And your brother said,
And my brother was just like, "Okay, thanks. I appreciate that."
Yeah. Good looking out for your uncle, right?
He's like, "Good job. She's really awesome."
Yeah. Well, it just validated his pick, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
exactly.
Right.
And
Hey,
soon,
yeah.
sooner than you think, Steph, your brother is going to be saying the same thing to your son. Good.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's
I
gonna
mean,
be
if he's
fun.
already this much a ladies' man at 10,
I know.
oh,
In trouble.
Mm-hmm. You mean,
Mm.
mm wait till middle school starts. You'll be calm.
I know. I know. I'll be like,
What
you and
is?
Paige will be talking a lot.
yeah,
Yeah, we will. Well, we talk a lot already, so
I know.
The focus will just change.
that's
Yes.
right. It'll just change.
So before we wrap up,
Yeah.
do you have anything you want to promote or share with us about what you're up to lately?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do I have going on? I have lots of things going on. If people are interested in traveling or being in a small group where you're going to be taken care of and you're going to laugh your butt off and meet some wonderful women. Like I said, I have trips going to Italy for 2025 and France for 2026. And I have an online French club. If anyone is interested in that, Stephanie's a member of that, where you can come and practice your French. No judgment zone, but just have fun with other ladies who enjoy learning more about the language and having a chance to practice. We do that once a week. And then, we're always looking, if people are looking for help and support with their business or with monetization or just don't know how to get from one step to the next. Like they
Right.
feel like they're leaving money on the table, but they just don't know how to, make that transition. We could definitely help them with that. And then lastly, follow me on Amazon and Amazon Live. And if you're an Amazon shopper, would love to have you in that circle with us.
Mhm.
That's all I got.
Yeah, your Amazon lives are so fun.
I gotta
Oh,
check those
thank you.
out. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
to be a guest the other day. It was
you
super fun.
did. She talked about
Ooh.
creativity and beauty from the inside out. We talked about fun products and all the things. Yeah.
I gotta go
Mhm.
see that.
Yeah, you are. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some cool ones. She's done some very cool ones so far. So,
Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, thank you so much, ladies, for having me on. I love that you are doing this and providing this space for people to share their stories. I'm a storyteller. I think that that's important that we let people know that they are not alone in their journeys, especially when it comes to living in the middle. That's what I talk
Mhm.
about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I appreciate your time today and for inviting me. So I love you. And, I'm barely standing up still. So you got me at a good
Well,
time.
So impressed with you, I have
yeah,
to say.
seriously. Yeah, thank you for being here, Paige, and for sharing all of your wisdom. And we love you too.
Yeah. Thank you. And have a great day, everybody.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.